Well, hello there, my little computer science enthusiasts, and welcome to some more Game Lab coding. In this section, we're going to finish off coding the click game, where the sprites will move across the screen and we'll click them. And when we click them, it'll count how many times they get clicked. All right, so let's get started. So I've already created some code that puts 3 sprites already on the screen. I've gone with my popular cow, carrot, cactus motif. And so you can see that those are displayed. Let me walk you through this code real quick, make sure everybody understands what's going on. So I created a variable called Sprite A. Sprite A is going to start at 5100. It's going to be coded to the animation cow1. And remember, your animations are over in this screen right here. And then I scaled it to 0.3 times its size. Then I created a second variable called Sprite B. I set it at 5200. So it's the same X level, but it's down. So it's going to be below this Sprite A because I changed the Y coordinate from 100 to 200. And I set its animation to carrot 1, didn't mess with its size at all. And then Sprite C is at 5300, which will be below the carrot. And Sprite 3 is the cactus. And I scaled it down to a half size. As a special note, when you're using decimal points, it's always good to put the 0 in front if it's less than 1. All right, so when I run that, and then of course I've got the draw sprites inside here. When I run that, I get all of the sprites visible. Now, I didn't really do a pseudocode thing, but I put in some comments for what I'm going to need to be able to do to finish my program. I need to be able to create some variables. I need to be able to display the counts. I need to be able to move my sprites, and I need to be able to detect the clicks. So those are the things that I'm going to have to do to successfully make my program work. And I'm going to do it iteratively. I'm going to develop it and check it and see if it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create some variables. I'm in the variables tab, so I'm going to swing this over and I'm going to create the variable t, because if you remember, we're going to have to use world.seconds and compare it with t. So I'll initialize t at -1. And then I think I'm going to create a variable called count A. And this will take care of counting how many times the cow is clicked. All right. So let's go ahead, and there's really nothing to test at this point. So let's go ahead and move right into the text. So in displaying the text, I want to make sure that I don't keep drawing text over other text. So every time I'm going to run the background. And in fact, running the white background overlay is going to take care of really everything. It's going to take care of the moving the sprites as well as the display counts. So I'm just going to write up the code for the cow, and then I'll go back and I'll put all the other stuff in later. All right, so I need some text color. I don't want to put white on white, and I don't like the default gray. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a fill color of black, and I'm going to do a stroke color of black. To be honest, I'm not sure you need both of those for text, but I can't remember which one text uses, so just be on the safe side. I'm going to use both. And then I'm going to go down to text. And the string that I want it to print out is I want it to print out the cow count equals, then I'll leave a space. And then I'll go ahead and make sure that I'm outside the quotes, and I'll hit a plus. And then I'm going to put count A. And then when I hit enter, it's going to turn that into a block for me. So cow count, the text is going to equal cow count equal whatever the cow count is. And I want to put that in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. I think I'm going to just display my counts all across the top here. So I need to come up with a coordinate, let's say 10, 30. So we'll go over 10 units and we'll go down 30 units. And let's see where that shows up. So now I think I'm ready to test this. So I'll hit reset and I'll hit run. And sure enough, you see cow count right up here is equal to 0. Now, if I click on it, nothing happens. So there's nothing really detecting or changing the clicks at this point. But I do have the text up there where I want it to. That's why I wanted to go ahead and test at this point. All right, the next thing I need to do is move the cow. If you remember from last lesson, the way to move the cow is basically to increase its .x value. So if I go into sprites and I find sprite.x, that's the x coordinate. So if I do sprite.x, nothing is going to happen because I haven't created just a sprite. I have to have sprite A, sprite B, or sprite C. So I'm going to do sprite A. And then if I set that equal to sprite A dot x plus, let's do plus 2 and see how that works. Now that should reconfigure sprite A's x coordinate every time. The others, it shouldn't have any effect on. So let's go ahead and hit enter there, and you'll see it changes that to a block for me. And if I go ahead and run it, sure enough, now the cow is slowly sliding across the screen. Still nothing happens when I click, but the cow is now moving across the screen. So let's take a look at the list of things I was supposed to do. I was supposed to make 3 sprites, which I did. I was supposed to have the count display on the screen, which it does. The sprites are supposed to move. I'm 1/3 of the way done with that. And when I click on a sprite, it's supposed to increase the count number. So really, I just have one more thing left to do, and then I have to apply it to the other 2 things, and I'll be done with this project. So let me go ahead and reset it, and let's go down here and let's do the detect clicks. All right, so if you remember from looking at your document and how it's described and some other things that we've done previously, the detect clicks basically is an if statement. So if, and then I'm going to pull out this double ampersand statement, which stands for and. If the mouse press over for sprite A, so I got to go down here and I got to get mouse pressed over for sprite A and put it in that first area, and I'll change sprite to sprite A. And T is not equal to the world.seconds. And what does this do? This keeps us from accidentally registering multiple clicks with a single click because of how fast your program is running. The reason that you have to do this kind of stuff is you got to remember that not every computer is exactly the same. Some machines have a faster processing speed than other machines. And so the human click might register as 5 clicks on one machine, and you might really have to hold the button down on a much slower machine to even get 1 click. So this is a way of, in the program, taking care of that situation so that it doesn't really matter how fast or slow your machine is. Your program is running at the pace that we want the program to run on. So what do I want to do? I want to do 2 things. I want to reset what count A is. I want count A to go up by 1. And I also want to recalibrate the T value to equal the world seconds. So I've got 2 variables that I have to change inside of this if statement. So I'll go ahead and drag 2 variable change things in here. And then I'll let T equal the world.seconds event, which basically is how long has this program been running. And it sets T to that value. That way, if I click it at a different time than you click it, we'll still have an accurate record of when this got happened so that it won't double click. And then the count A needs to go up. So count A needs to increase by 1. So that's just count A plus 1. All right, and so now I believe I've got everything done. I'll go ahead and run. Sure enough, when I click on the cow, you can see its cow count is going up. All right, so now I've got basically all of the programming that I need done. I just need to repeat some things. I need to repeat 2 more variables. I need to repeat 2 more text displays. I need to repeat 2 more sprite movements, and I need to repeat 2 more conditionals. So that's a lot of dragging and dropping. So I'm lazy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the text, and I'm going to copy and paste what I need. So I needed 2 more variables. So I'm going to go to cow count A, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to change this cow count A to B, and I'm going to change this cow count A to C. Now I have the 3 variables that I need. All right. Then I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to copy and paste this twice. And once again, I'm going to change that to B and that to C. We probably don't want these to be called cow count. So this is carrot count, and this will be cactus count. And I probably also don't want them all to be in the same place. So I want to leave the Y value the same. I want them to go down about the same, but I want them to move over differently. So I think I'll do 150 and 290. I think that'll space it out really nice. 150, 290. All right. And then I've got the move sprite that moves A. So you guessed it. I'm going to copy it 2 more times, and I'm going to change the A's to B's on one line, and I'm going to change the A's to C's on another line. And then finally, I need this loop repeated over and over again, but the loop needs to be doing different things. So here's another advantage with text. I can go ahead and create some space so I can move to what I'm doing to kind of center screen. All right. So mouse pressed over Sprite A. I need to, everywhere I see a Sprite A, change it to Sprite B. I need every count A to be count B. And that's really all I need to do to modify that code to make this work with the second sprite. And then down here, I'm going to change all the A's to C's. See how naming my sprites, the way I chose to name my sprites, makes modifying this very easy. All right. So now when I put it back to blocks, I've got all these blocks I can show you now. So here's the variables that I created. Here's the text display, and hopefully we'll see them displayed across the top of the screen over here, like they should be. I want them to kind of go into this thing, and I want them to, like, one over here, one in the center, one on the other side. And then here's the increasing, or the movement for Sprite A, Sprite B, and Sprite C. Notice I changed the X value, so that should move it across the screen. And then we've got the detect clicks for A, B, and C. So let's go ahead and run that. Let's make sure it works right. So sure enough, if I click the cow count goes up. If I click the carrot count goes up. If I click the cactus count goes up. One more thing you could do to make this game a little bit more creative is I could have them moving across the screen at different speeds. Like I could make the cow go faster. I could set its X value to +3, and I could make the carrot go slower. I could set it to +1. So now when you run the game, there's a little bit of strategy. You click the cow as many times as you can. Then you go click the cactus as many times as you can. Then you click the carrot as many times as you can. And so hopefully when you get done, so I've got a cow count of 4, a carrot count of 6, and a cactus count of 2. So you can see that it's checking the different things. I wonder what happened to these blocks right here. Let's go ahead and put those back in correctly. I don't think I need them because I think it was when I was copying and pasting, I copied the empty comment block. So let's see what we got here. Yep, we've got the creation of the sprites commented for me, the creation of the variables commented for me. Inside the function, we're always drawing the white background over what we drew last time. And then we're drawing all of this stuff, the counts, the display counts at the top, the movement of the sprites, and then recording the clicks of the sprites. And then, of course, we're drawing the sprites themselves. And then I had all of this extra stuff so you can let me scroll stuff up. It doesn't matter how much empty space you have in this function or on the screen. All right, so hopefully you found that helpful, this solution to the game for section 3.13. And until next time, I want you to keep on coding and keep on creating.